There are certain words a man can say that instantly flip a woman's perception of him. You might think you're being honest, vulnerable, or even charming, but in reality, you're cutting straight through her attraction and killing it on the spot. And the crazy part? Most men don't even realize they're doing it. They'll drop a casual comment, thinking it's harmless, and then wonder why the energy shifts, why her eyes glaze over, why she suddenly seems colder. Attraction isn't always lost because of what you do. Sometimes it's destroyed because of what you say. The truth is, women are constantly scanning a man's words for clues about who he really is. Every sentence tells her something: how confident you are, how much you value yourself, whether she can look up to you or not. One slip up, one weak phrase, and she files you in the not my man category before you even realize what happened. That's how brutal it is. And here's where most guys get it wrong. They think being real means sharing every thought or fear. They think pouring out their struggles or over-explaining themselves will make her understand them better. Wrong. Women don't want a running diary of your insecurities. They don't want to feel like your therapist. What they want is a man who knows when to speak and when to hold back, because the things you choose not to say reveal more strength than 1,000 nervous confessions ever could. So in this video, I'm breaking down the exact phrases and admissions you must avoid at all costs. If you've ever wondered why she lost interest after what felt like a great connection, chances are it was something you said. Stick with me, this is going to hit hard. 1. I can't live without you. Few phrases destroy attraction faster than a man looking a woman in the eye and saying, I can't live without you. At first, it might sound romantic, even dramatic, but to a woman, it signals something far more damaging. It screams weakness. It tells her that your entire sense of identity, your stability, and your emotional strength are tied to her presence. And once she feels that weight on her shoulders, the attraction she once felt for you starts to evaporate. Here's the cold reality. Women are drawn to men who are complete on their own. They want to join a man's life, not become his life. When you tell her she's the only reason you're breathing, you don't inspire passion, you create pressure. Suddenly she feels responsible for your happiness, and no one wants that job. She doesn't feel like your partner anymore, she feels like your lifeline. And nothing kills attraction faster than being treated like an emotional crutch. A man who says, I can't live without you, is admitting that he doesn't have control over his own existence. It's not love, it's dependency. Women might play along with it at first, because it flatters their ego to know you're obsessed, but over time it suffocates them. They start wondering, if I leave, will he collapse? Will he fall apart? Is he really this fragile? Those questions don't create desire, they create distance. Strong men flip the script. They don't say, I can't live without you. Instead, their presence communicates, my life is full, it's meaningful, it's strong, and with you, it's even better. See the difference? One version drags her into your emotional cage, the other invites her into your castle. One makes her pity you, the other makes her respect you. Think about the men women fantasize about, the leaders, the athletes, the men who command attention. Do you think those men ever tell a woman, I can't live without you? Never. Because they know their worth. They know that even if someone walks away, their life continues to expand. That quiet confidence is magnetic. When you tell a woman she's your oxygen, she'll test you just to see if it's true. And when she realizes you meant every word, she'll lose interest. But when she sees you're steady, independent, and choosing her, not clinging to her, that's when she invests even deeper. So never make her your survival plan. Make her your choice, not your necessity. That's the kind of man who keeps attraction alive. 2. I'm so insecure. There's nothing wrong with being human, and every man has doubts. But the second you sit across from a woman and start confessing, I'm so insecure, you've already dug yourself into a hole. What you think is honesty, she hears as instability. What you think will win her sympathy ends up draining her attraction. Here's why this kills the spark. Women don't look at a man's words in isolation, they read between the lines. When you tell her you're insecure, she doesn't just hear the statement, she imagines living with it. She imagines the constant reassurance you'll demand, the jealousy over harmless conversations, the suspicion when she's late replying to a text. In her mind, insecurity equals emotional labor, and that's not attractive. Men often make this mistake because they believe vulnerability is the same thing as dumping their self-doubts on someone. Vulnerability, when done right, is about authenticity and self-awareness. Insecurity, on the other hand, is about weakness and neediness. Women know the difference instantly. A man saying, "I've been through struggles, but I'm working on myself," shows strength. A man saying, "I'm insecure, please fix me," shows fragility. Here's the brutal contrast. Insecurity forces her into the role of caretaker, while confidence inspires her to lean into your frame. Women don't fantasize about being a therapist, they fantasize about being with a man who stands tall in his world. The moment you hand her your insecurities to carry, she'll start to question whether she can trust you to carry her. Let's be clear, this doesn't mean you fake perfection, it means you show direction. A man can admit he's improving, but he should never make his lack of confidence her responsibility. Imagine telling a woman, "I used to struggle with this, but I'm overcoming it." That's powerful. It tells her you're resilient. Now compare that to, "I'm insecure and I don't know what to do." That drains her energy instantly. The most magnetic men are the ones who acknowledge their flaws but don't live in them. They project an energy of progress, not paralysis. When you communicate from that position, women see you as a man on a mission, not a man waiting for validation. Remember this, attraction isn't about perfection, it's about certainty. She doesn't need you to be flawless, but she needs to feel that you believe in yourself. If you can't hold that belief, she won't either. So never hand her your insecurities on a silver platter. Work on them privately, strengthen yourself daily, and show her the man who grows stronger with time. That's the man she won't want to walk away from. 3. Other girls want me. One of the fastest ways to make a woman lose respect for you is bragging about how other women want you. Some men think dropping this line will spark jealousy and make her chase harder. In reality, it usually backfires. It makes you look insecure, childish, and desperate for validation. A man who truly has options never needs to announce it. His presence, his confidence, and his lifestyle make it obvious without a single word. When you tell a woman, "Other girls want me," she doesn't hear strength. She hears insecurity. She hears a man trying to prove his value instead of embodying it. And the moment she senses you're using other women to impress her, she files you under immature. Attraction isn't built on bragging, it's built on quiet certainty. Think about it this way. A king doesn't walk around his castle shouting about how many people admire him. Everyone already knows it. Real power is unspoken. The same applies in dating. If you actually have women interested in you, your confidence, your self-respect, and your lack of desperation will show it naturally. You won't need to announce it like a teenager showing off. On the flip side, when you use this tactic, it often plants doubt in her mind. She starts thinking, "Why is he telling me this? Is he trying to make me jealous? Is he seeking attention? Or worse, is he trying to manipulate me?" None of those thoughts create desire. They create distrust. Educated men understand that women are more attracted to men who hold themselves with quiet authority. A man who knows he has value doesn't throw it in someone's face. He lets his behavior, his choices, and his standards do the talking. When you focus on building yourself, your health, your finances, your purpose, women naturally notice. You never have to brag, because your life speaks louder than your words. Here's the reality. Women already assume men of quality have options. If she's attracted to you, she knows other women probably are too. The worst thing you can do is ruin that perception by shoving it in her face. It doesn't make her want you more. It makes her wonder if you're immature enough to need constant reassurance. Instead of saying, "Other girls want me," live in a way where it's undeniable. Show up with confidence, lead with purpose, hold yourself to high standards. She'll feel that energy without you ever saying a word. And when she feels it, her respect and attraction grow stronger because she sees you as a man who doesn't need to prove himself. Bottom line, if you really have options, you'll never need to announce it. If you feel the urge to brag, that's a sign you still have work to do on yourself. 4. I'm broke and struggling. Money is one of the most sensitive topics in relationships, but it's also one of the most misunderstood. When a man constantly tells a woman, I'm broke and struggling, he's not just sharing his financial state. He's unconsciously destroying her sense of security and attraction. Women don't expect every man to be a millionaire, but they do expect stability, direction, and a mindset that says, I'll figure it out. Let's bring this to life with an example. Imagine a man named James. James was in a relationship with a woman who genuinely cared about him. She wasn't with him for his money. She loved his ambition, his humor, and his character. But over time, James fell into the habit of constantly reminding her of how broke he was. Every dinner, he'd say, I can't afford that. Every weekend, he'd complain, I'm struggling, life is too hard. At first, she tried to be supportive. She told him it didn't matter. But little by little, his words shifted the way she saw him. Instead of seeing a man she admired, she started seeing a man who was stuck and powerless. Here's the key lesson. Women don't lose attraction because you aren't rich. They lose attraction because you sound defeated. James could have been broke, but still magnetic if he had said, I'm building right now. I'm not where I want to be yet, but I'm grinding, and I'll get there. That shows vision. That shows resilience. And resilience is what keeps a woman inspired to stand by your side. When you tell a woman you're broke in a defeated way, you strip away her belief in your ability to lead. She starts imagining a future of constant struggle, unpaid bills, and endless complaints. But when you frame your reality as a stepping stone, when you show her that you're in motion, that you're pushing forward, she can respect that. She can invest in that. Think about men who started with nothing but won their woman's loyalty. It wasn't their bank balance that kept her, it was their mindset. A man who says, I don't have it all right now, but I know I'm going somewhere, radiates confidence. That energy makes her want to stay, because she feels like she's part of a journey, not stuck in a dead end. The truth is, women can handle a man who isn't rich yet. What they can't handle is a man who makes his struggles his identity. If you want to keep her attracted, stop repeating, I'm broke and struggling. Instead, show her a man who refuses to stay broke, a man who views his struggles as fuel. That shift in perspective keeps her respect alive, and with respect comes attraction. 5. Please don't leave me. Few phrases drain a woman's attraction faster than hearing a man plead, please don't leave me. On the surface, it sounds emotional and heartfelt, but beneath it lies weakness, desperation, and fear. Women aren't repelled by emotion itself. They're repelled by the lack of strength behind it, and that's exactly what begging communicates. When a man begs, he's sending a message that his life depends on her decision. He's handing her all the power and showing her that his world has no structure without her. Instead of being the grounded, stable man she can lean on, he's the unstable one leaning entirely on her. That reversal kills attraction because women want to follow strength, not manage fragility. Think about what she hears when you say, please don't leave me. She doesn't just hear the words, she hears that you've lost your self-respect. She hears that you've placed her above your dignity. She hears that you'd rather cling desperately than walk with confidence. And once a woman senses you've traded your pride for her presence, she loses the very respect that kept her invested. Now, let's flip this and talk about what a strong man communicates instead. The right thing isn't cold indifference, it's calm certainty. A man with self-respect never begs to be kept. Instead, he shows a woman that while he values her deeply, his sense of worth is not chained to her decisions. That difference changes everything. Instead of, please don't leave me, The stronger message is, I want you here, but I'll be fine no matter what. That's not arrogance, that's strength. It tells her you choose her, but you don't need her to survive. It puts the relationship in its rightful place, a choice, not a lifeline. And women find that irresistible. Another alternative is showing standards. If she's threatening to leave because of drama or manipulation, the worst thing you can do is beg. The best thing you can do is calmly say, if this doesn't work for you, I understand, but I won't stay in something that doesn't feel right. That's leadership. That's boundaries. It shows her that you're not afraid of loss, and paradoxically, that makes her more afraid to lose you. Here's the hard truth. Women don't stay because you beg them to. They stay because they respect you, and respect grows when you hold yourself with composure, even in moments of uncertainty. Begging strips you of dignity, but calm certainty reinforces it. So drop the phrase, please don't leave me, forever. Replace it with words and actions that communicate strength, choice, and direction. Because the man who can stand tall in the face of loss is the man she'll fight hardest to keep. 6. I don't know what I want. Few things turn a woman off faster than hearing a man say, I don't know what I want. On the surface, it might sound like harmless honesty, but in her mind, it signals a lack of direction, a lack of leadership, and a lack of identity. Women don't expect men to have every detail of life figured out, but they do expect clarity in the way he carries himself. A man without direction doesn't inspire her, he unsettles her. Imagine sitting across from her at dinner and she asks, so where do you see yourself in the next few years? And you shrug and mutter, I don't know. That moment she mentally checks out. Not because you don't have all the answers, but because you've shown her you don't even have a vision. Women crave the energy of a man who knows where he's going, because it tells her she can trust his leadership in a relationship. Here's the reality. Women are naturally drawn to certainty. Certainty doesn't mean perfection, it means conviction. A man can say, I'm building my business, or I'm focused on leveling up in my career, or even I'm figuring things out, but I know I want success and growth. That communicates direction, it shows ambition. It gives her something to believe in, but when you say, I don't know what I want, you hand her confusion, and confusion never breeds attraction. Think about this in relationships too. When a woman asks where things are heading and you say, I don't know, she feels instability. She doesn't need a timeline carved in stone, but she does need to feel like she's with a man who isn't floating aimlessly. When you show leadership, whether it's in your career, your goals, or your personal growth, you create the kind of certainty that women can lean into. Men who inspire attraction are men who speak with intention. Even if they're still building, they project clarity. Instead of, I don't know what I want, try this. I'm focused on becoming the best version of myself, and I know what I don't want. Anything that slows me down. That answer communicates strength. Or you can say, I don't have everything mapped out, but I know I want to grow, and I know I won't settle. That shows progress, not passivity. The difference is subtle, but powerful. One phrase reveals a man drifting with no anchor. The other shows a man steering his own ship, even if the exact destination isn't yet visible. And here's the secret. Women are more attracted to the direction of a man than his current location. They want to know he's moving forward, not stuck in confusion. So cut the phrase, I don't know what I want. Replace it with vision, with ambition, with certainty. Even if you're still figuring life out, show her that you're leading yourself with conviction. That's what makes her want to follow your lead. 7. You're too good for me. At first, you're too good for me might sound like a sweet compliment. A man says it thinking he's being humble, thinking he's showing appreciation. But in reality, it's one of the most self-destructive things you can ever say to a woman. Instead of making her feel special, it lowers you in her eyes and places her above you on a pedestal. And when a man puts himself beneath a woman, attraction begins to wither. Here's why this phrase is so damaging. It tells her you don't see your own value. It tells her you believe she's out of your league. It tells her you think she deserves better. And the second you communicate that, she starts to believe it too. Women mirror the way you see yourself. If you see yourself as unworthy, she will eventually see you the same way. Let's make it real. Imagine a man named Daniel dating a woman he really admires. She's smart, beautiful, successful. Instead of standing tall in his own strengths, he keeps telling her, "You're too good for me." At first she laughs it off, maybe even says, "Don't be silly." But over time, those words plant seeds of doubt. She begins to ask herself, if he doesn't think he's good enough, maybe he really isn't. Maybe I should look for someone who believes in himself. Daniel thinks he's flattering her, but in truth he's pushing her away with every insecure admission. Now flip it. A strong man never tells a woman she's too good for him. Instead, he treats her as an equal. He shows appreciation without lowering himself. Instead of, "You're too good for me," he might say, "I'm glad we're together. We bring out the best in each other." That's powerful because it communicates value without weakness. It tells her he respects her without disrespecting himself. Women are drawn to men who hold themselves in high regard. They want a partner, not a worshipper. When you speak as though she's on a throne and you're crawling at her feet, you strip away the balance that creates healthy attraction. But when you hold your ground, when you show that you're proud of who you are and what you bring to the table, she feels secure knowing she's with a man who believes in himself. The truth is, no woman wants to feel like she's dating down or carrying someone's self-worth on her back. Attraction thrives when both people see each other as valuable. So instead of telling her she's too good, tell her you're glad she chose you. And make sure your actions prove she made the right choice. Because the man who knows his worth never loses hers. Attraction isn't just built on what you do, it's shaped by what you say. Every phrase either lifts your value or chips away at it. The 7 mistakes we just covered prove how easy it is to kill attraction without even realizing it. Women don't want a man who begs, overshares, or doubts himself. They want a man who speaks with certainty, confidence, and purpose. Cut out these weak phrases, replace them with strength, and you'll notice how differently women respond. Remember, words carry power. Use them wisely, and you'll keep respect and attraction firmly in your hands.